Hello, I'm Carol Nakanoff in the Department of Political Science. What's next? Spontaneous celebrations in the street after the presidential election was called on Saturday are indications of the passions that motivated a number of Tuesday's voters to rid themselves of Donald Trump. With approximately 67% of voting eligible Americans turning out to vote, this election is on track to be the highest percentage turnout since 1900. But what lies ahead? There was highly motivated voting on both sides. President Trump got a very large popular vote. He was only exceeded by Biden. It is not clear that Trumpism is about to go away, nor that Trump will soon step away from the limelight in U.S. politics. The closeness of recent elections, plus the strong support for Trump's nationalistic proclivities, suggests that control of the White House will continue to vacillate. The claim that a demographic and generational shift is likely to deliver long-term national victories to the Democrats remains to be seen. The Democrats are extremely likely to face a Republican Senate in January. They are likely to face obstruction. Mitch McConnell has already signaled that the Senate will be receptive only to cabinet nominees acceptable to them, not those they see as dangerously progressive or who rankle conservatives. It would be unusual for the president's party to gain seats in the Senate and House in the next election, and so it's very likely that the Biden administration will face divided government. I expect the new administration will accomplish little of their agenda legislatively. Polarization in America and gridlock in Congress do not bode well for the unity message. However, recent presidents have shown how to accomplish quite a bit unilaterally. Now, these routes to governance are not ideal, but we can see what this is likely to mean. President Biden will rejoin the Paris Accord, and he can do that fairly quickly. But efforts to meet our commitments to reducing greenhouse gas emissions will face many challenges. The new president will appoint people to head federal agencies, and they can change a number of federal regulations implemented during the Trump era, but this takes a fair amount of time. Administrative rulemaking is really where it's at these days. President-elect Biden can and surely will sign many executive orders the first few days of his administration, erasing many Trump-era executive orders. However, these can be erased very quickly by the next incumbent if they disagree. The Supreme Court has changed. The likelihood that a more activist and conservative court will modify or abandon the Chevron rule that granted considerable deference to administrative agencies in promulgating rules implementing congressional legislation is a very real possibility. So cabinet officials and the Biden administration may find themselves second-guessed quite a bit by the court. The court may also be much more hostile to existing interpretation of federal authority under the Clean Air Act, for example. So we are likely to face a lot of policy whiplash. And finally, the question what to do about the court and the damage that they might do to the ACA or abortion or to fairly expansive readings of federal authority. Shall we cut funding, pack the judiciary, engage in jurisdiction stripping? Well, that's all academic unless you can pass legislation to do so. Many people who believe in reasoned discourse, science, civility, and attempting to persuade those with whom you disagree breathed a sigh of relief a few days ago. But this is not likely to be a game-changer election. It's not going to set the policy agenda for a generation to come. The precarity of American democracy has not suddenly disappeared, although removing one major force that has undeniably posed new threats to democratic governance is an important step.